Bob Royal and his wife Greg and my wife Tucky and I were great friends over the years. I served on Bob's board when he was president of CNS Bank. Then when I was governor, I named him to the Ports Authority. He was there for some 10 years serving as chair and did so much to open up the port to foreign trade and so forth, and was very much involved in that. Bob then became the Secretary of Commerce, which was a key economic development job for this state. And then the president asked him to go to Africa and serve this country in Tanzania. He did that as ambassador in tremendous fashion, and I was so proud of him, and I'm so proud he is receiving this Global Vision Award.
Well, anybody that knows Bob Royal understands that he has a passion for the people of Africa, particularly Tanzania, and their welfare. I've been working with Bob since he's gotten back from Tanzania with the Medical University of South Carolina to train more physicians assistants for the Tanzanian people who are very underserved when it comes to medical services. So Bob's heart is full of love for the people of Tanzania. In Africa, he did a great job representing our country during a very dangerous time, and I want to thank him. But anyone who knows Bob also understands he has a passion for hunting. I remember when he did a fundraising event for Senator McCain during the last presidential election, we did it at his house, and every animal known to man was stuffed in Bob's living room. So I know the people of Tanzania miss Bob greatly. The animals are glad he left, and the people of South Carolina are proud of Bob Royal and what he's done for our state and nation.
Well, while I knew Bob long ago back in college, I didn't have any close contact with him until he moved to Columbia and became a leader in the community. He was then president of Citizens and Southern National Bank, where our law firm represented them then, and also later when he was president of the National Bank of South Carolina. We both served Trinity Episcopal Cathedral, where Bob, as senior warden, convinced me to double my church pledge, which I can assure you was no easy task. Bob had a passion for many good causes. One in particular I remember was cystic fibrosis. He convinced me and several other business folks then to serve as waiters at their grand annual fundraising dinner. And there were many major political campaigns where he was finance chairman. I tell you of these experiences with Bob because to illustrate, in my opinion, there's no other person that has been as varied and broad-based in their contribution to society. To public and community service, he has been like a Swiss Army knife. He's done it all.
In such a wonderful and real way. I have been standing on Bob Royal's shoulders for most of my adult life. I met him probably 32 years ago, and he has been a mentor and an example and a friend. His leadership is unsurpassed. His style is all his own. He is an original. They just don't make them like Bob Royal anymore. And yet, in his way, he also was such a wonderful ambassador, not only for the United States to the world, but for South Carolina. And nobody loves South Carolina more than Bob Royal loves South Carolina. I'm the beneficiary of his interest and his example, and I'm better for it.
Bob Royal has been a leader in Columbia for many, many years. He has been a leader in banking and the business community, always in the forefront of what's progressive and good for our community and our city. And he's been a leader in economic development. He has changed our community by bringing in companies and businesses that we would not have had but for his great work and effort. And we're deeply appreciative and are just honored to honor him tonight.
When I think about Bob Royal, I think about all the things that he's done for business in South Carolina, from his early days as a banker and how he financed businesses to open up businesses, small businesses, large businesses, to create jobs and wealth for our citizens. I also think about him as head of the Ports Authority and what he did to help recruit BMW and Michelin and other large investors in this state. And I think about what he added to our economy as the Director of Commerce and recruiting new jobs here. When you think about business in South Carolina, that name that is synonymous with business is Bob Royal.
Well, first of all, Bob is a strong personality, and he walks like a strong personality. But he has a heart of gold, and not everybody knows that. When he was ambassador in Tanzania, he raised, with his personal money and with some friends, $50,000 for Sister Annette Farrell. And she was a Catholic nun from Ireland who had maybe 1,000 students that she was supporting and educating in the poor section of Dar es Salaam, the capital. With the $50,000, Bob was able, through Habitat for Humanity, to build 16 homes for her teachers. And it's now known as Palmetto Village, which is obviously for South Carolina and for what he did. And what happened with his raising $50,000 was a catalyst for her to go to other people and say what American people can really accomplish when they're at their best. And that was a catalyst for her to really increase her mission to the point that in 2002 she had 1,000 students. In 2009 she has over 5,000 students.
I knew when I married Bob Royal 54 years ago that our life together would be an adventure. Sometimes I didn't realize how much of an adventure it would be. But it has been very hard trying to keep up with him on all of his projects and accomplishments. I sit back in awe and look at him with astonishment at how much he has accomplished in his life, how he's been such a giving person. And I remember all the good times we've had and all the good, wonderful things that we did with our children and growing up. And that was another side of him that I loved. But I believe I saw him at his best in Tanzania. I saw him get on a plane and fly to a remote area to try and help those people get a well for water. And in the crowd was this small little boy, and he kept looking at the ambassador and looking at him. And when all the presentations were over, Robert walked over to this little boy and stooped down. And the boy had never